Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulous. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines from my news feed. Headlines are good because you can get a lot of information from the headlines. And then I also share with you my thoughts, if I have any thoughts to share with you about the headlines, about the subject matter at large, about the article. You know, that's what we're doing here. It's not news, but it's almost as good as the news. It's my notes on the news. So let us proceed. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Let's go. Shaking. Malaysia Airlines flight turns back to Australia. So have you ever been in a car that has some issues and you get, like, for example, you get on the expressway and you start going over 65 and the car starts shaking and you're like, oh Lord, but if you go under 65 it don't shake. So you get off the expressway with like, what's going on? That's what it seemed like happened. They got up in the air and the thing started shaking. I ain't never been on a plane that was shaking. I've been on some small planes where they're, but like that shaking, that's what I thought when I saw the article. NYPD union sues to stop release of all body cam footage, claims it violates officers' civil rights. You know, y'all be out here killing people, but you concerned about people violating your civil rights when you be violating people's lives? Is that that's how it sounds to me. That's how it feels to me. But anyway, I don't know. I'm just reading the headline. Google bans word gorilla from photo app after labeling black people as apes. You know, this I was watching on who's the child who has the comedy show, Robin Thede, The Rundown with Robin Thede, and they were talking about artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence is programmed by people. And so things like when you go to, and I've actually noticed this, but I didn't know why. When you go to the to like an airport, I noticed it in particular, and you put your hand underneath the water spigot or underneath the soap spigot dispenser, and it seems like it doesn't register. And I'm like putting my hand like this and all of this, and then eventually it's like water will run or whatever. Well, they were talking on The Rundown with Robin Thede about how those things are usually programmed for white people. They don't even take into account, because there are very few black people working in the industry, and nobody even thinks about black people or brown people when they're programming the stuff. So it don't even register black and brown skin. Some of them do. That's not uncommon. And then stuff like, I think it was the facial recognition for the iPhone. All of the Asian people could all unlock one person's phone, even though they don't look alike, because to the artificial intelligence, to the white people who programmed it, they like all Asians look alike or whatever. And so she was, and then stuff like the artificial intelligence is supposed to be sensitive and detect cancer on skin, but they don't train it to detect cancer on brown skin. So let me see what the story was, because I don't even remember now. Excuse me. I got distracted by producer stuff. Hold on a second. Okay, so the story was Google bans word gorilla from photo apps. And then also artificial intelligence and these computers are getting trained by news articles, by television shows, by movies, by comments on YouTube videos and other comments. And so they're learning things from these movies and stuff and comments on videos and all of this stuff, that like black people are gorillas. And so in order to, because the society is so racist and says all kinds of racist stuff, and the artificial intelligence is being trained by society and not being counteracted by any, you know, real black folks. So instead of dealing with the societal issue, Google banned the word gorilla from its photo app, because it was, you know, pictures of black folks would come up and the artificial intelligence was like, oh, a gorilla, a ape, a monkey. But gorillas are a real thing, so you banning it from the app because you can't control the racism of the system. Anyway, 40 incredible vintage black hair ads. They were really interesting to look at. I don't know if I looked at 40, but I looked at 20 or 30. And the colors of the people were in these ads were like more brown than they are nowadays in ads, it seemed. And more natural hair, of course, all the afros and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Mario Batali isn't divesting from his restaurants for now. And that was our question when they started taking his, he was accused of sexual assault, creating an environment, unfriendly harassment, whatever he was accused of. Oh, we're taking his names off of the restaurants. I'm like, are they taking his names off the restaurants, or are they taking his money out of the restaurant? And even if he's still not making money from the restaurant, think of all of the money that he has made, all of the wealth that he's acquired by being a rich white man with property and power. So even if it stops now, he's still ahead of the game of other people. So it's not really a punishment. He's been well rewarded by society for being a rich white man with property and power. Piety Hill commercial property needs full renovation, seeks $89,000. That's here in Detroit. Alpha Kappa Alpha, and Delta Sigma Theta judges unite to bust up the prison pipeline. I didn't know what that article was about, but the black sorority judges are like, we're going to bust up this prison pipeline. Good. U.S. police arrest 2 boys after vandalism killed 500,000 bees. I had seen that article. I had seen that piece. I think I saw it on Facebook. I'm like, who burning up bees? Why would any? And then someone had said, I think it was kids. And I was like, that seemed like some foolishness that children would do. You know, they just be, I don't want to say dumb, but, you know, they just process things in a particular way. There's, you know, they don't have the big picture. So the article is confirmed. The headline is confirming that. Judge Mathis admits producers told him white folks will not accept meanness from... Judge Mathis, who's a black man, admits producers told him white folks will accept meanness from an older white woman, but not him. You got to be, you know, Uncle Ben. You can't be out here being Judge Judy. Judge Judy is mean. I don't believe you. She be on it. I'm like, ooh, she scared me. I'm scared of her. Sweden to issue leaflets on how to prepare for war. They're really close to Russia. When I saw the thing on the map, I'm like, oh. You know, it's funny how the world, where the connections are, sometimes it'd be like totally different things, but in my head, but they not totally different things in the real world. U.S. removes Haiti from list of nations eligible for temporary work visas. American Express CEO Kenneth Chenault becomes Facebook's first black board member. India's latest missile test puts it closer to joining an exclusive club and will make China think twice. 2017 was the second warmest year ever on record, behind only 2016. That's global warming, right? South Carolina man gets shot after making racial remark about Martin Luther King, deputies say. It's like it's an uptick of like foolishness. I guess some of these people are upset because there's a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, or they upset because black people, I don't know why they upset, but it's been like story after story after story of like just white stupidity. So I don't know who shot him, who he made the racial remark to, but you know, every once in a while, I guess even the white supremacists, you know, hit the wrong one. You know, I'm just saying. Road trip, anyone? Why you should retrace the civil rights movement through the U.S. Civil Rights Trail. I always wanted to go on a trip from south to north, like a walking trip. There are people in this country I hear who walk from east to west or west to east. I don't really remember. But I always thought, like, as a black person, as a person of African descent whose people were part of this country and probably most likely part of the enslavement of Africans in this country, that freedom trail, like to walk from, you know, south to north. Because most people didn't go from deep south to north. But, you know, I just thought it would be interesting. I'm just curious to like process and think about being on this road barefoot, being on this road hungry, being on this road with people chasing in behind you, being on this road not knowing who you can trust, being on this road missing your family, being on this road scared, being on this road not knowing what to expect or what's awaiting you, sleepy, tired, hungry, stressed out, traumatized, demoralized, you know. Here's exactly how many days you should book your flight in advance to save the most on airfare. I think it was 58 days. Extreme heat at the Australian Open is marring play and has some players questioning the safety of matches. I've been wondering about the Australian Open. Lawmakers who previously camped out for hours to shake the president's hand at the State of the Union don't want to be seen with Trump this year. Whatever. I could take care of the NIGGERS. High school principal retires over racist video. A high school principal. I wonder what the demographic breakdown of his school was. And even if all his children were white, what messages were, like, I guess they got to perpetuate, this idea of white superiority, this BS. And so I guess, even if it's all white people, they training up their next generation to maintain this system of, rich white men with property and power on top, and everybody else bow down. White Utah student says she was just messing around after posting Happy National NIGGER Day lynching photo. U.S. Gymnastics lifts gag order on Michaela Maroney after Chrissy Teigen calls them out. Chrissy Teigen said, is she had to pay $100,000? Y'all got a gag order on her? Is she saying anything? She got to pay $100,000? Okay, I'll pay the $100,000. And so now I guess that the U.S. Gymnastics feel and is looking a little stupid, so they like, we're gonna lift the gag order. Lebanese hackers stole a ton of data, then left it on an open server. That's like I break into your house and I steal your valuables and I just leave them sitting someplace. I don't even want this stuff. I just want to jack you up. Marriott's global accounts mysteriously stopped tweeting, and there might be a chilling reason why. The reason being that they offended China by recognizing some of these countries as countries, or China say they're not countries, the other countries say they're countries, but China like, I don't, and so they say, you better shut up, don't say nothing. And they say, and the Marriott is like, you not gonna say nothing. Yes, sir. People using Google's viral app that compares your face to art are complaining that it has an ugly flaw. Guess what it is? They don't have enough art having to do with black folks, so the art we just ain't in the mix when people be designing stuff. We ain't part of the design team. We ain't the part of the thought process. Deputy fatally shoots teen in courthouse after victim tried to defend his mom. Jada Pinkett Smith lands Facebook talk show, will co-host with daughter Willow Smith and mother Adrienne Banfield Norris. I think I saw a clip of them chit-chatting around the red table. I think it was called Red Table Talks, but that seemed like it's been about a year. Kansas college athletes heckled with racist chants from crowd. North Arkansas school denies allegations. I bet they do. Facebook, we talked about that. Zimbabwe opposition figure Roy Bennett dies in U.S. helicopter crash. Him, his wife, and I think it was like 6 people in total. One person didn't die. But y'all, this is more of the Zimbabwe stuff. He was one of the people who was really, really opposed to Mugabe and was, lobbying against Mugabe. Get rid of Mugabe. He was probably one of the ones who started Gucci Grace. Gucci Grace. Oh, Mugabe's, and then now that they, he's a white guy. He was a white farmer, and he was advocating for the 4,000 white farmers who lost their land. Now, I wonder how many black folks lost their land during this time of old and new imperialism and old and new colonizing. How many black folks have lost their land, have lost land, have been disenfranchised, are starving to death, have no means of support? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. So anyway, this person is dead. And I suspect that, I don't know, maybe it's just an accident because, accidents do happen. But I don't know. I was like, I think somebody might have done something. FCC admits mobile internet is a poor broadband replacement. Ukraine crisis. Kiev defines Russia as aggressor state. Israel's Indian Jews and their lives in the promised land. When they first went to Israel, they're like, we're Jewish. And at the same time that Israel was being founded, I think that India was getting freedom from the colonial grip, or part of the colonial grip of Britain. And so the Jewish people in India didn't know what was going to happen to them. So they went to their homeland, their fatherland, Israel. And the people in Israel treated them like they was black, and they wouldn't let them intermarry. They was dogging them out. But now everything is all cool because they can intermarry. And even though, you know, the next generation or this generation thinks of themselves as Israel is their fatherland and India is their motherland, the next generation coming up, they intermarried. They don't even think nothing about their Indian heritage hardly. The way the article made it seem like it's just being washed out and they've just blended in. I guess they got those Ethiopian Jews to call it Niggers now, or whatever the appropriate Israeli term is. Cancer is a country with no cancer in a country with no radiotherapy machine. See, and then that's another thing. When you get disenfranchised from your way of taking care of yourself, then you're dependent on their way of taking care of you. So we're eating a certain way and we're living a certain way, and that's causing us to have cancer. And then we don't have access to their medication. But I don't know if it's true or not, but I always have this feeling that if we ate in ways that were in alignment with nature, we wouldn't have to really be worried about things like nature. And things like cancer so much. And if we took care of ourselves in alignment with nature, the way that we have historically, we wouldn't have to be worrying about being dependent on no radiotherapy machine. But anyway, Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand Prime Minister, reveals she is pregnant. Terry Crews tweets Frederick Douglass speech on Haitian Revolution, sparks debate. Yay, Terry Crews. I saw a little bit of what you tweeted and I agree with it 100%. Bill Cosby prosecutors petition to allow testimony from 19 more accusers. A flight attendant has a theory about unhealthy airplane food like eggs and even fruit, and why cabin crew pack their own meals. Cabin crew pack their own meals. That's a really important thing to pay attention to. Entire aisles are empty. Whole Foods employees reveal why stores are facing a crisis of food shortages. They have this just-in-time type system, so they don't want to keep no excess inventory. They used to have food that was going bad in the back. They don't have food going bad in the back. But then when you come in the store, it ain't a lot of food to buy. But they say they got Whole Foods becoming a corporation. They got it together now. Kazakhstan bus fire kills 52 with few survivors. Fire and Fury, Trump expose to become television series. Dang, this man done made, this white man done made a lot of money off of these white men and stuff. China uses facial recognition to monitor ethnic minorities. That's like in this country how they be monitoring the Black Lives Matter people and stuff, and other people. Anything to quell resistance. The imaginary black boogeyman continues to be blamed for crimes, and mainstream media is complicit. We saw it just the other day. A woman is like, "Oh, a black woman threw acid on me," but it wasn't no black woman who threw acid on her. YouTuber wins damages in landmark UK revenge porn case. White supremacists were responsible for the majority of extremist killings in 2017. Deadly storm causes Dutch and German transport chaos. Tension, trauma, and trust. New pilot program looks to bridge gap between civilians, police. Daughter of racist pizza owner who beat black woman begs Trump to stop protesters. Indiana teen caught on video yelling F-U-C-K-N-I-G-G-E-R-S into a bullhorn says he's deeply ashamed. I think that's what I'm going to do. I can't go back. I could go back further, but that's what I got. Today is the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate you. If this is not your first time listening, welcome back. If you're new to me and to my channel, welcome, subscribe, like, comment, share. Today is the best day ever. You're the greatest. You're the #1 stunner. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace.